All right, everybody, welcome to episode 102, live from my drum room with my very special guest, Hues Conte. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome Hues. You can see it right there, Hues Conte.
Here I am.
And here he is. Hues, thank you for being here today. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Are
My
you kidding?
brother. It's so good to see you. And I was stalling for time until Eddie Taduri joined the broadcast. So he's watching. So he said we could begin. So
Eddie, the man.
Eddie's in the house.
I love him.
I love him too. I love
What
him
a
too.
great guy, man. What a beautiful. He just does so many wonderful things, man.
I
He's a
know.
good
I
man.
know. And I'm going to have him on in the future because I want to talk about traps and
Yeah,
all the great things that Eddie does and what a great player too. And
yeah.
I mean he's got all the bases covered. So yeah. All right, got a lot of folks watching. So, Hues, I was telling everybody before I brought you on, this morning I was out for a run and I started thinking about all the different artists that I've seen you live with, perform with. I mean,
Mhm.
you've played on records with a million people, but um, I was thinking today, I think honestly, like of all the drummers that I know and percussionists, I've seen you with more different people, and like I'll give you an example. Okay. First time I actually met you and talked to you was you were playing with Madonna in the
Okay.
late 80s, you and Jonathan Moffat.
Jonathan Moffat. Yeah,
Yeah. Blonde Ambition.
yeah.
In fact, I think I approached you at that point and said, "Hey man, we'd love for you to, I just joined Zildjian, love for you to play our drumsticks." And
Yeah.
it was
You
around that
did,
time.
man. You hooked
Yep.
me up. Yeah.
Yep. And I made note of some dates. 1992, Mike Nesmith tour.
Wow. Woo.
Do you remember you played in Boston? You played at this place called Night Stage, a club in Cambridge, Mass.
Yeah.
You remember you called me like a couple of days before. You said, "Hey man, it's last minute. I'm in town with Mike Nesmith." It was like in February. It was wintertime, and I came out. It was one of the best shows. I got to say a quick hi to him after the show, thanks to you.
That was in Boston, right?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah, man. Those gigs were like wow, man. Because Michael would like, Paul Line, the drummer.
yes, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he's the one like he got me on that. He called me to get on this gig, and we were doing gigs with Michael, and but his gigs were like wonderful because he it wasn't like tours. We would like they send us a car. We go over to the little Santa Monica airport, get on a private Falcon jet,
oh
fly to Chicago, fly to Boston, fly to New York, play the gig, stay a couple of days. He also loved food. Michael loved food. So we ate. I mean, he knew everywhere to go and everything. It was
yeah,
amazing. But one amazing thing about that, a few of those, we did that for about a year. We would hit like on the weekends. One time we went to Chicago, and I don't remember what hotel it was, man. And I checked into the hotel, and he said, tonight at the lounge, Elvin Jones.
oh
And I mean, I was staying at this hotel, and Evan Jones with his orchestra, his band, was playing in the hotel there at the lounge.
oh man,
I
oh
don't remember where that was, what the name of the hotel is, but it was like amazing. So that's my what I remember.
that's were you able to like? Were you able to finish the gig in time to go back and see Elvin, or was it?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's great, man.
Oh
That's
yeah, man.
yeah.
Oh yeah. We hung. I got to hang with him and everything. It's great.
He was a beautiful cat to hang with too.
Wonderful. The only
He
time I did, but it was great.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
that's amazing. And so I remember it was 92 with Michael Nesmith and then Mike Nesmith and then 93 Jackson Browne, I'm Alive.
Yeah.
I was listening to that record over the weekend. That's I mean almost 30 years ago and it's such a great record. Such a
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
record. You and Fritz and of course
Chris
Jackson.
Leewalk and oh yeah, Jeff Young on keys, Mark Goldenberg on guitar. It was amazing, man. And
Yeah.
Fritz, man, and Kevin McCormick on bass. Can't
That's right.
count.
Yeah. Yep. Scott
Yeah,
Thurston I think was part of
it's
that
Scotty
band for a while.
Thurston.
Yep.
It's Scotty
And
Thurston.
you guys, I remember you toured a couple of years because I think I saw you two times in like 93, 94. You guys came back through town a couple of times on that
Yeah,
tour.
I'm pretty sure that was '94. But
94. Okay.
we recorded in '93, and no, wait a minute.
Maybe it was
Yeah, no,
93.
no, you're right. '93. Yeah, because I was on tour with Madonna in '93, and and they were going out, and Jackson said, "Okay, when you finish Madonna, come on over because you did the record," and I
Yeah.
joined, and it wasn't until January of '94 that I went. So then we did that. It was '94 and '95 with Jackson.
Okay. All right. Yep.
Yeah,
And then I think I saw you also in 95 or maybe 96 with Pat Metheny.
with Pat Metheny,
Yeah.
'95.
95, which was, yeah, I know. We went, I don't know if you remember this. My kids remember this who, they're
Yeah,
grown now, but we went to that Mexican restaurant in
yeah,
Boston. Yeah. At Fajitas and Ritas, I think it's called or something, right near the Orpheum Theater. And
yeah,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
I
I
know. I
remember
know.
that really well, man. You and your kids, man. That was a wonderful afternoon, evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and to see you play with Pat, man, that was like another whole different thing too.
yeah.
That was, yeah.
He was great. And he used to give me a spot in the show and go out there and do whatever I wanted. I
Yeah.
could sing, I could play, I could. It was great. Well, yeah,
Stretch, man. Yeah. Yeah. That was, and then 97, Phil Collins.
yeah,
That was,
yeah. Just keep the hits. I'll keep on rolling, man.
I know. No, this is what I'm thinking about today. I'm going, holy shit. Like, and then, and then I want to say early 2000s, like for many years with James Taylor, it was like, that was a steady, regular, touring gig.
Yeah.
So,
When the late, unfortunately, when my brother Carlos Vega passed, that was in '98.
yeah.
Uh, that's how I had, I had met James and everything, and they called me and says, "Man, we have a tour that we're doing, and we're doing this live on the Beacon Theater um, DVD show concert. It's going to be a DVD. Would you come to New York and do that?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that, but I can't do." It was the same thing as Jackson kind of. I can't do the tour because I was going to go with Phil
Yeah.
to Europe. We were going to do his big band thing, and so I said, I can do that Beacon Theater thing, and then from there I'm going to have to go to Europe. He says, "Okay, fine." And so we rehearsed, and I remember James saying, James didn't know the conversation with management, and James comes over to me and goes like, "Hey, Luis, you don't suppose you packed enough stuff to like just continue on the tour with us, right?" I would love to, but I can't. I'm holding up with Phil, man. I gotta do this other thing. It's okay. Well, just when you get back, make a call, and then you come and meet us.
Ah, that's nice, man. That's nice to,
What a
yeah.
blessing, man.
What a bless. Well, I mean, but
I'm blessed.
that's why you're who you are, man. That's why you get those calls, you get those gigs.
Yeah.
Now, Luis, when I saw you with Phil Collins, was Ricky Lawson playing drums on that? It was Ricky.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
When I first joined, my first thing with Phil, where the Phil thing went down in it was '96. Yeah, because we did it in '96 and '98. So in '96, he wanted to do a big band. Phil. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know about the Phil. Have you heard about the Phil
Yes.
Collins big band? He did that.
Absolutely. Yep.
So that's how I meet him. They had it was faxes in those days. They had sent me faxes about going to do a recording, and the guys were out there already recording. It was Ricky Lawson and the late Ricky Lawson
Yeah.
and Nathan East, etc. And then they said, okay, they changed their mind. We're not gonna use the percussion, but we're doing this big band tour in '96. So that's when I started with Phil. It was actually Phil was playing the drums, and there's a little story I'll tell you. So
Yeah.
um, it's a big band. Phil's the drummer. I'm the percussion player. And about 3 days into rehearsal, Phil comes by and goes, "Hey, Louis, did you get that cassette from Put, Steve Jones, who's his right hand guy?" And we're like, "No, what cassette?" He says, "Oh, he'll get, just he'll get it to you." He says, you got to play drums on 3 songs, because I'm gonna have to go up front and sing." And I was already in Switzerland. I'm going like, "I got a what?" He says, "Yeah." You gotta play drums." I said, "Did you ever think of asking me before I got on the plane that I played drums?" I tell you what, man, I've played drums at a wedding once, and I got a set of drums in my house that belongs to my son. And once in a while, I sit in it, but they're right-handed, and I'm left-handed.
I knew you
So,
were left-handed. Yeah.
and Phil's, you know what Phil says? because he's like this, man. He's just like
Yeah.
no doubt you're doing it. Period. He looked at me and was like, okay, so you're left-handed and I'm left-handed. You learn the songs, you play percussion, you can play the drums. Or what do you want me to do? Bring Chester out here? He can just sit around all day just to play 3 songs? That's not gonna happen. You're doing it just like that. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's too much, man. Talk
Yeah.
about, yeah. I had a feeling it was going that way when you said I'm left-handed, and I could picture Phil saying, "Great, man, so am I." Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
He's going, you gotta do it. That's it. It's okay, man, no problem. So
Uh,
my first performance, an actual playing the drum set, the first gig was at Royal Albert Hall.
oh my
No
God.
pressure. There's no pressure. It was Royal
No,
Albert Hall.
no pressure.
Uh, Princess Di was there. It was
Wow.
a command performance for the Queen or whatever, and it was had to do with South Africa.
Mm.
So President Mandela was there. Princess Di and the other guy were there. Quincy Jones was conducting. Tony Bennett was singing, co-singing one of the songs with Phil. And no, there's no pressure. It's broadcasted on the BBC live. Okay, Luis, here you go.
Oh man, I gotta
Go
look
for it,
for
man.
this. So there's probably like videos, right, on YouTube.
There's gotta be.
Gotta be.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Wow.
I never looked, but yeah,
I never heard this story, Luis. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Man.
yeah. That was the first gig, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
What songs were you playing, like a big band kind of standard, or was it?
There we did 2 songs, and it was "Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me" and "Always." Da, 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 da. Always is a balance in 3/4. That one was
Yeah.
really easy.
Yeah.
But "Do
Yeah.
Nothing from You Hear From Me." It's from Quincy Jones' album. I forget which album. It's JR's parts.
Oh man. Okay.
Man, I was practicing that shit like. Ah! And
Oh,
then, man, you know what? I dug it so much. Then I started like, we started doing sound checks, and I get Phil to get off the drums and go hear what it sounds like out there, man. And I would like play the drums,
yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's drummers love that. To be able to hear how their drums sound by a real drummer playing them. In the
Yeah, yeah.
house.
So
Yeah.
it turned out to be like really, really fun.
Man.
Ah,
Wow. That's
yeah,
that's some great stuff. I had no idea.
yeah. First gig, man. Live
And
on the
and
BBC.
and all these different gigs. I mean, I have to imagine every gig was unique in its own way, right? I mean, like you're playing with Madonna, it's mostly like there's a lot of program parts that you're kind of playing to, right? I mean, I guess that's the way it is with a lot of stuff these days. But I remember that being a pretty, Jonathan playing to a sequencer and
Sugarfoot. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you say these days, but it's these days, but it's a little bit of those days because things have changed. Pro Tools didn't exist
yeah,
then.
yeah,
This is '87. So I forget what they use. They use these machine things. I forget what it was. It was under the stage. And the way we did that gig, what I was told, Pat Leonard was a musical director and a producer.
yeah,
When I got on the gig, he said, "Look, check out the songs. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's played or programmed. See what you don't want to play. Program it. They gave me a little drum machine, and I would like program the little parts. We'll put that into the whatever that thing is that's playing the tracks,
I see.
and then you play what you like. So
Yeah,
like, Papa Don't Preach had like a cabasa part, not silly, it's just like a very broken up cabasa part. So it's like I'm not gonna stand there and you go chicky chicky chick, chicky, chick. I just program that and I play something else, and
yeah,
I come up
yeah,
with my own parts, which is really great.
yeah. It was
But
a, I mean,
um, you want to hear something about the Madonna gig?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
When the gig came in, I go in there. They tell me to go. Can you come in? Hey, my name is Michael Bloom. It was the guy that worked for Pat, and we're gonna be playing over at Leeds Rental, and I wonder if you want to come and play some percussion. It's for Madonna, and there's these 3 songs you gotta play. It's basically an audition.
Yeah.
You gotta play these three songs. One was Papa Don't Preach, the other one was Live to Tell, and I forget what the other one was. I go, okay, yeah, sure, boom. So it was so early then, man. I barely even had any. I didn't really have a cartage company. I had a couple of guys I would call. Hey, can you bring my stuff, man? You know,
Yeah.
my stuff was all raggedy all over the place. You know, I got it all set up, and I'm set up right next to this monster set of Jonathan Sugar Moffett, who's perfect
Yeah.
in every way, shiny cymbals, everything. You know, just
Everything perfect. Yeah.
beautiful. The man, GQ. So he walks in. Hey man, how's it going? You know, shake hands. And he sits down on the drums and he goes, right? So I start grooving with him. There was nobody there. We played, I don't know for how long, for quite a while. Till a few people started walking in, and then we stopped. And when we stop, we hear, hey, you mother, that sounded pretty freaking good. And it's Madonna. She was up in the balcony all this time.
Oh,
Yeah, I got
wow.
there, and I don't know what she was doing back in. She was by herself up there, and she
Yeah.
heard the whole jam.
Wow.
Had the gig.
You're in. Yeah. That's
That's it.
it.
That was it.
What a great story, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
I remember seeing you guys at least one time, and it really seemed like you had a lot of freedom to I mean, like you say, you're playing these parts that are, there were a lot of parts on the records that you're
Yeah,
emulating. But I remember you playing a lot of congas and some
yeah.
timbales and really getting to play, which was great, and I think that must have been a great thing about her band was like Jonathan got to play, you got to play,
Oh
and
man, yeah,
still keep the groove, and the show's her, but you guys the band gets to play.
yeah. Like I said, I mean, I program things, and then I could come up with parts that I wanted to play. You know, like I mean, I forget some of the songs now, but there's this one tune, the Blonde Ambition tour. There was one tune. There's like no congas or anything, but I had this whole conga thing going with a couple of DAWs pads that I would hit the program part, and it was rocking.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
loved it. She loves conga. She loves percussion. So
yeah.
everybody was very happy. It
Great
was
band. Yeah,
playing with Jonathan was amazing, man, and it was my first. I mean, I never played for 50,000 people, man. You know what I mean? In stadiums, get out to Europe and it's like soccer stadiums, multi nights, Versailles, 200,000 people. It's like this is big.
yeah, that is, man.
Big.
So I mean, talking about how I know you came to the States in the '70s. You came over in
I
early
came to the States in '67.
'67. Okay,
Yeah, I came from Cuba.
right.
From Santiago de Cuba because of the communists and all that stuff. I got out of there and I went to Spain from Cuba. That's the only way to get out. And I was there for about 4 months till I had my papers and everything to come to LA and I lived with a third. I left on my own. I've been by myself without my parents since when I was 15.
Man.
And then I went over to a state with a third cousin of my dad, who I didn't really know, but my dad had sent him letters. He was nice enough to sponsor me because I was underage. So I went to
Yeah,
high school living with them. I went to Hollywood High School.
you did.
Hollywood
Okay.
High.
Yeah. So did you know Jeff and all the Toto guys and
No,
oh
man.
they were a different school.
They
Yeah,
were a
that's right.
Grant.
Grant.
And
Yeah.
I never knew those guys. I might have seen them play. I got to tell you, my those forming years of high school times were very troubled years for me.
Mm.
It's a completely different world of how most of you guys or most guys, that I know when they were 15, they were living. I was not in my home. I was not in my country. I was not with my mom and dad, my grandma. I barely knew the people I lived with. We sort of got along, but it wasn't honestly my favorite place to be. So I was a trouble. I was not.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good days, and and there was a major thing that happened. Is like my family back in Cuba. I mean, the radio was in my house all the time. My dad had records of all kinds. My dad played on Sundays. He played from big bands to Cuban music to opera to whatever. I mean, he loved music. And when I came here, where I was living, nobody cared about music. There was then the radio go on with the news, and so
Mm.
I got totally disconnected for a little while. So I never knew what was going on. I did go to a couple of Battle of the Bands that they would do up there in the Hollywood Palladium. I probably saw those guys play, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
but I didn't know anybody.
And you were playing percussion. You were interested in music at 15. You'd already been playing while you were in Cuba.
When I was in Cuba, and I was playing guitar too.
Right, right, right. Okay, yeah,
I started playing the guitar. I was playing. My grandmother's fault for me to be a percussionist because I lived in Santiago, and my grandmother from my mom's side was from Havana, it's on the other side of the island, and she would come and spend. She'd get on the bus and come down to the end of the island and stay with us for 2 or 3 months, and then go back to Havana. And whenever she would come, she goes, "This kid, man, he loves music." She'd bring me a Guido. Next
oh,
time she'd bring me maracas. She brought me some bongos. And I would like from the play, even when I was in the playpen, she says they used to play with sort of hit things. And then I would play to the radio.
yeah,
The radio would be on, and it was like all day, whatever. It's what I love to do. And then the Beatles came along, and I found a guitar. I wanted to be a rocker. I started playing guitar.
yeah,
But it turns out that the guitar is probably the most important, including the clave, the most important instrument in Cuban music. It comes from the guitar.
yeah,
So, and when I went back to Santiago, I went back to visit back in 2009. I had not been back since I was 15. I realized, man, wonder I love to play guitar. Everybody, it's a big part of the music, you know.
yeah.
So
That
anyway,
was
sorry.
that was the first time, Luis, you went back in 2009 since you'd
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I think I remember you telling me that you'd gone back, but I don't know why I assumed you'd probably had gone back before that. But
No, no,
oh,
it's strange, it's a government, it's politics, and
yeah, yeah,
man, I was invited to go to the Jazz Festival that happens in January, but I don't know. People
yeah.
say,
No,
oh, you should go. I don't want, half my people, more everybody over there, they're struggling, they're hungry, they're like,
yeah,
go over there, like, live like I'm the man, hanging with the big boys that live well, with that government that doesn't let anybody breathe.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing that.
I dig. No, I understand, and it must have been an emotional thing for you to go back there
And for
at
me
this.
to go back, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And but I mean, look at, look at what you've become. It's just it's amazing to just. God bless you, brother, that you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you came here and shit, man. Look at you're Luis
Yeah.
Conte. Yeah,
Well, I'm not to get religious in you, man, but I'm a guy that believes that I'm in Spanish una marioneta is I'm a marionette, I'm a puppet, and the Lord has got me up here like this with these things, and He's the one. Because if you know my story, being alone at 15 years old in Spain and ended up like this,
yeah,
it had to be Him.
yeah,
I mean, I was
yeah,
in Hollywood, man. I ran away. Listen, I was a runaway a couple times when I was in high school. I did all kinds of stuff. So the Lord took care of me.
yeah, yeah. And did you find at a point that you started to really get more serious about music? Like by the time you were in your later teens, like you were, I'm guessing, playing with some guys and bands, and it was keeping you more focused, and kind of that was the path you wanted to go down.
Yeah, I'm a super late comer, even though I was playing, but I didn't know. I thought I was going to end up being, I don't know, work at McDonald's or a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah,
Farthest thing from my head was, oh, I want to be a musician.
yeah,
I just love music, and I don't know why I was like that. And when I finished high school, I ran into some drummers, some percussion players at Los Angeles City College. I started then going to Los Angeles City College, and I loving music so much, I said, well, I'm going to take, musicianship one, and maybe piano one. But as I'm going to class, there's the African American Students Association is having an event, and when I walk in to the school, all I heard was like, and it was like I haven't had a conga drum since I left Cuba, man. Like I walked in there and they were all there, and I met them and they told me what they got the drums. There were some Val J congas. I went and
Yeah,
bought some Val J congas, and I was playing right there,
that was it.
120 million% of the time music.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What was the first what you'd consider to be like big sort of break or session or gig, playing gig that you got?
Well, the 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 first gig that I kind of got to travel and well, okay, first it was a salsa gig in LA. A guy that came from Panama. His name was he's still around. I think he's in Europe. His name is Azukida, and he was super happening singer, and it was like the band to be in at the moment in LA.
Yeah.
And I was just playing. I played all kinds of music, but I was just whatever. Yeah, I can play Cuban music. So I heard about this thing, and I went to the rehearsal, and the conga player showed up late. He wasn't there.
All right.
So I said, hey, I play congas. I can. Oh yeah, you mind? Okay. Hey, you want to do the gig? Boom. So I, so I joined the gig with the hottest salsa guy in LA.
Wow.
Yeah, the guy Azuquita. But then I, I start, you're networking, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
And you go
Absolutely.
here. You're 100% of like who is who, what is what, where do you go, where can I go, what is happening, who's playing, everything. Learning, who's teaching that, what kind of music, what instrument is that, it's all the stuff going on. And I hear like, hey, well, there's a musicians union. I go, musicians union, well, maybe I can get a job there. So I go to the musicians union, which is in Hollywood, which is where I lived, was right there. So I
Yeah.
go in and I run into this guy I have met at a club. And he said, Luis, what are you doing? I said, no, I just got here. I said, what's going on? He says, man, there were these couple of people here that were looking for somebody to play percussion. They said they have a hit record. They have a record that just came out on RCA and it's climbing up the charts and they're going on to New York. Where's the number? Right here. Give me a number. Call them up. I didn't even have a car, man. I had a motorcycle. I called a friend of mine. And says, man, Rudy, can you please give me a ride? Pick up my congas, and I gotta go do this audition, man. Anyway, long story short, these people were the Hues Corporation. They did that song "Rock the Boat."
Oh, huge. Yeah. Yeah.
Rock the Boat. It was the biggest hit that year. They were nominated for a Grammy and the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I got on the I got on that gig, and I got to see the country. I got to play. Man, those days, I love R&B music, man.
Yeah.
And we play with, we had billings. Sometimes it'd be like, I remember doing a gig at the Nassau Coliseum. It was the Staple Singers, Sly and the Family Stone, uh, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Kool and the Gang,
Oh man.
and the Hues Corporation. We were the opening act. And, so I was traveling doing these gigs. Another gig would be like Ohio Players and the Spinners.
Yeah. Yeah.
We spent one time 2 weeks in Toronto at the O'Keefe Center. It was the Hues Corporation and then the Spinners, who I loved.
I love them too. Yeah.
So yeah, man. And we did Don Kirshner in concert, ABC in concert, the Midnight Special, Soul Train,
Yeah. Yeah.
American Bandstand. Blah. I mean, I was doing all of that. It was great. It was great.
Wow. And
Yeah,
still probably like in your early 20s, right? Young guy, just like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. In my 20s, man.
man. Wow. And
Never
that,
been
and
to
that,
anyone. I wasn't even an American citizen yet. Actually, I never ended up going with them to Europe because I couldn't get a visa because all I had was a Cuban passport. So I had to
yeah.
become, I was dealing with my citizenship so I could travel. So it was fantastic.
And I'm guessing through that, as you said, because you like you say, you network, you meet people, you make a great impression on somebody as soon as you meet them, no doubt about it. And that had to just begin it, right? I mean, that was like just one thing after another, I'm guessing at
Yeah,
that
and then
point.
just meeting people. And there was a percussionist in, yeah, the next thing what happened, I came home, there was a guy who passed away. He's the original conga player with Willie Colon, who's a major salsa guy.
Yeah.
His name was Hector Andrade. His nickname was Bucky. He was one of my best friends, if not my best friend. He was he had come out here. He had to come to clean up. He had come to LA because he had drug problems and he was like getting his life together over here. And we hit it up real good. And he was the conga player that showed up late at Azuquita's gig. And it was a little bit of a flake. And and from there, he actually, I remember I got off that gig because I couldn't go to Europe, and Hector came by and says, "Hey man, the Supremes are auditioning
Oh, yeah.
um, percussionists." And this is how cool a friend he was, man. He says, "I'm auditioning. You want to go audition?" I go, "Yeah." He let me know about it,
Yeah.
and we both went and auditioned. I got the gig, and then
Those are
from
dream
there
gigs. Yeah.
it snowed. It went over to like I remember getting a call from Gil Askey, who was Diana Ross's musical director, call me late at night. My phone rings, and my parents had just come from Cuba, so I was leaving. We were at a house. I was living with my parents. My dad goes, "Hey, somebody's on the phone." It's midnight. "Hey, this is Gil Askey. Hey, I was at the rehearsals, the auditions there where you were rehearsing for the Supremes, So Diana Ross is going on a tour. You want to play with us?" I go, "Yeah." So,
Man.
I like that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Hey, I have to tell you, Luis, our old friend, your very good friend, Lee Mullen, is watching.
Ah,
And
my brother.
yeah, your brother. I think you're the
Love him.
godfather of one of his kids, I think, right?
Yeah.
You told me that a long time ago when I met Lee.
Jack Louise.
Yeah, that's great. And Craig Haynes, I don't know if you know Craig, but he's the son of Roy Haynes, the
Oh, my
Roy
goodness.
Haynes. And
Ooh.
Craig just said, "I am loving this." So I wanted to share that with you because
Oh, man. Well, say hello, please.
yeah.
Hey,
And
man.
Craig's
Oh, they're
Craig's a
listening.
great guy and a great friend, and of course his dad is just a god to all of us. So yeah, man, man, this is so great. So there's so much stuff I want to ask you about. Um, One of my favorite songs that you played on, and a Toto song. Can you hear what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
That was,
Yeah.
I think it was they put it like on a compilation or something like that.
Kind of
Um,
a sort of greatest hits and a
yeah,
compilation and some new songs. Yeah.
yeah, great. I mean, you and Jeff sound. I mean, the whole band, of course, but hearing you and Jeff together on the same tune
Oh,
is
man.
yeah,
I tell you, my playing got better from playing with Jeff.
yeah.
I know it.
I, I
It's good.
I I would have to think so. Yeah, I mean anybody, right? I mean, yeah. And he probably, if he were here, would say the same thing about playing with you. I would bet you. I
I
would bet
love
you he
that
would
guy.
say that.
It's great.
Did you guys cut that together? Was that
No, no, we overdub. I came in overdub. We did it at Bill Schnee's studio. It was already recorded, and I
it
overdub.
was? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, James Guthrie, I think, was the producer. I forget.
I know it was a long time ago, and
Yeah,
I was listening to that recently, and just again, so much space, but like you don't the what I love about the way you play, Luis, is you don't fill it up just for the sake of filling it up. You know what I mean? It's like you just play these beautiful, tasteful parts, and it's not blazing fast
yeah.
timbali single stroke rolls.
Thank you, man. Well, it's
Yeah,
just I play what the music, what I hear. That's
yeah,
how I play. I play is what I hear. People ask me, "Hey, how did you know you played that? Why did you play a triangle on that section?" The music tells you.
yeah,
It's like a language, and I have the words here, which are the instruments, and there's questions. If you look at it that way, there's sentences, and you got to fill up the sentences, and that's what you use. So the the
yeah.
message that the music is sending you tells you what to play.
And so I had a feeling you were going to say something like that. So and I guess you kind of answered my question. So when you come up with these parts, you're just hearing it and you're feeling it. You're not. I mean, it's you can't really go there to a session with a preconceived idea, right? You kind of have to hear the tune,
Yeah,
and then but it's instinct probably, right? It just instinct sort of takes over, and you go, yeah, man, a triangle is going to work here, and I'm going to use a shaker for this part, and
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, and sometimes you don't know even.
Yeah.
You'll know once you do the first thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I did a record this past week with this actually a Mexican band was real big called Los Temerarios, and they had this one song where they said, you know, it was very basic. Most of it was congas, bongos, because a lot of ballads and
Yeah.
colors and. But this is the one tune. It's like, hey, this one's not like all this other thing, and I know we would like probably like a tambourine, but we don't know what else, And well, they said they wanted a tambourine, and I definitely hear a tambourine. So while I'm doing the tambourine, I'm gonna hear the next part. That's how it works.
I see. Yeah. Yep.
Or sometimes you're not hearing it, and you go, "Well, can we listen back?" And you go and then take your time and listen to the song, and maybe you don't hear anything else. Or in that case, I ended up finding my Middle Eastern darbuka, and I kind of heard that.
Yeah.
Not played as a it was a pop tune. It wasn't played as a authentic darbuka part, but it
Right.
was the sound that was great, and it worked out great. But I heard that by playing to the song.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a lot of those situations, Luis, do you have the benefit of hearing most of the track complete with the drums, or is it like a drum machine maybe, and it's like a reference track kind of thing, and you've got to work with that, or maybe different situations, different things, or
It's always different, but most of the time there's the drums are there. Most
the
of,
drums.
I'm like an additional after the fact kind of guy, so most of the
Yeah.
time, the rhythm section is there. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
there might not be a vocal. They might have like a synth going, doing what the vocal does, maybe, or maybe nothing. But mostly I get, a good basic track to play to, most of
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's because even like jumping back to like we talked about the Jackson Browne record, um, I'm Alive, like from the '90s. It sounds like and I guess it's the way it's mixed and the way it's produced that makes it sound like you guys are all in the same room together.
Well, yes,
Okay,
this was,
okay, yeah,
yeah, real tracking. We were talking about overdubs or going in like this record that I just talked about last week. The tracks are done. Abe Jr. had played drums
oh yeah,
on the tracks, and Abe Sr. played bass actually. And so the tracks are there. And then I add things. But Jackson Browne, I'm there with everybody.
yeah, okay.
You know.
That makes much more sense because I'm listening. I'm going. It really sounds like everybody's like you're grooving off of what you're hearing, kind of in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jackson's
it's
records we're all together, and that record, I'm Alive. Um, yeah, I mean, he gives you total freedom of what to do. We
yeah,
got the
yeah,
songs and we start just doing it. He's got his studio and we can just spend days, working on stuff, which is fantastic. The way
yeah.
to make music and take your time and relax, and you come up with things like Urus or Bombo Legüero from Argentina or some shit like, I played stuff like that on that record. It works
Great.
great.
Yeah, there's so many great sounds on that record. I know.
Yeah,
That's great.
thanks.
I'm going to see if there's some questions we can answer for some folks here real quick. John Rogers, I saw a live concert video with Luis and Madonna, and I love the Go-Go Bell part in Vogue. Too cool. Yeah,
Check it out.
yeah. All right. Yeah,
Wow, you heard that, huh?
yeah,
That go-go bell part it was electronic. I had to play it electronically. Uh, it's what's on the Vogue record.
yeah.
As a
That's
matter of
right. Yeah,
fact, we're talking about freedom of what to play with Madonna. That one was an exception, and that one was it Jellybean Benitez, whoever it was that produced the thing. I forget who it was. They came to the show and they actually came up to me and says, "Hey, there's an agogo part in Vogue that you gotta play, man. You should play." Oh, really? I never paid attention to it. Oh, okay. Nobody said anything. And then I started doing, and it's great.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, and good for John for picking up on that. But like you say, if it's like an integral part of a hit song, then yeah, you want to.
good
Yeah,
ears, good ears.
good ears. Yeah, I want to just read you something Eddie Taduri wrote too. Eddie said, "In all that Luis does, he always has time to help people and various charities. In 25 years, he hasn't missed a chance to play for us and to support the trap program." So,
Ah,
man, that's great.
Well,
And
it's
it's
my
great.
honor to be there.
Yeah,
It's my honor, man.
that's
A
fantastic.
beautiful,
And
beautiful ring.
yeah, it is a beautiful thing. And speaking of that, speaking to Eddie, I know Eddie's up in Santa Barbara. You bought a place north of L.A., right? You're
Yeah, we're close by. There's a little town called Carpinteria,
yes, yeah,
which is in Spanish means wood shop, and it's just it's maybe 15 miles from Santa Barbara on the way
great.
there,
On the way there,
which
yeah,
is which is nice because everybody goes to Santa Barbara and they pass our place, which is cool. It's like nice and quiet.
yeah, yeah. Keep going to Santa Barbara. Yeah,
Yeah, just oh yeah, Santa Barbara, beautiful. It's Carpinteria. Don't worry about it.
yeah. And you guys are like, are you on the water? I think you
I'm
told me.
about I'm about 1/10 of a mile from the water.
Oh my
I can
God,
hear I can hear the water from my bedroom.
beautiful man. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, it's pretty nice. It's not a big place. It's just a little tiny place.
Fantastic though. Good for you.
It comes from when I was a boy. My dad was a doctor. And we had we lived in our home in the city, and then he had bought a little like a hut out in the at the beach, and we would go out there and spend so much time. So I always had that thing of like having another place to go to the beach,
Yeah,
and I was blessed to be able to do it. So
that's great, man. Good for you. I'm so
yeah,
happy. I remember when you got that place and you were excited to have like a little getaway spot,
oh, I
like
love it.
that's
Go out
beautiful.
there, ride my bike, enjoy,
Great.
get
You look great, by the
inspired.
way, Luis. You look like you're riding your bike a lot. You look really
I'm
healthy
trying
and
to keep
good.
up with all you guys. I'm getting old, but I'm trying to keep up with you guys, man.
Oh man,
Yeah,
tell me
you
about
know,
it.
it's good to keep fit. You have to exercising, especially what we do, man. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it's muscular. It's we're boxing every day. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like when I play in the corner,
Absolutely.
it's like box. So you gotta stay in shape. I ride a bike, or if I don't ride, I walk. I don't
That's
do
great.
much. I'm not a big weight guy and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but I stretch, and stretching is really important.
Yes. Yeah. And you mentioned earlier at the very beginning, you have some drums. You have an electronic set. Did you say set up at your house,
No, no,
or
no. I had a set
or
of
you have it?
my son's drums
Your son's drums. That's right,
when
Louis.
back in
Yeah.
the day when he was living here, because he's married now. He had a set
Yeah.
of drums in there.
So you don't have like a drum set at your
I
place now.
I do. I have a Yamaha. I forget what it's called. Uh,
One of the hip
a
gigs, the
little
small
jazz
kit.
set.
Yeah.
It's a little jazz set. I've had it for years, but it's not even set up. It's in the closet.
Okay. Yeah.
My stuff. I mean, I'm not in my studio right now. I mean, it's just instruments. Tons of from all over the world. It's kind of like more of the stuff I do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just curious about that. I was just curious if you ever like got behind the drums and sort of, you know,
I don't mind. I mean, if
yeah.
I if there's a drum set there and I can sit them behind the drums, most of them are right-handed, so I just try to do whatever I can do.
I got this
I
one right here for when you come out to Boston, right here for you.
That's me, man.
Yeah.
Got my name on it.
That's it. That's it. Well, I,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, I know we're getting close to time here, but I wanted to ask you too. I kind of missed this question I'd written down. Talking about like all the sessions that you do, I know you have a cartage guy now. Like when you get called to do a record, for example, and it's not you're not doing it at your home studio, but you're in a studio.
Yeah.
Do you bring pretty much like all your stuff? Do you just bring like an array of
Yeah, I bring it.
you have to yeah.
I send a lot of stuff because look, like this particular record that I did this weekend with the Temerarios, man. It's like if you heard their music and I went on Spotify to check out all their stuff and what they told me is basically all boleros, and I know what fits in there. But I send more stuff just in case. And
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
what? They ended up using a darbuka, which that
Right.
would not have been part of their scene at all. So I don't oversend stuff. Like I knew I wasn't gonna like use bata drums on the record, and stuff like that. But I sang quite a bit of. I have one setup that we call it's John Oresnik from Angel City Drum Works that does my stuff,
Yes. Yeah.
and we have like all right, the cases have numbers, and we also have like studio setup. Studio setup is when it's like basic, and then I go studio setup without the surdo, the batas, or the udus. But then we have another setup which is like studio setup plus African world. So then he's got all these other cases with the African instruments.
Wow.
You know, that's how
Yeah.
we work it. You know, and when you have to really send pretty much all your stuff is if you don't have the music ahead of time and you're working on a film,
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
because then you don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. But
That's
most of the time on a film, you get the music ahead, or at least they send you the charts ahead of time.
yeah.
So you see the instrumentation you need to send.
I got you. Well, that makes sense. Okay, and I should have asked that question. That you have a heads up, like you say, you get a chart ahead of time, so you have a heads up of more or less what you're going to need. And like the same when you play in the Grammys, for example,
Yeah.
you know what the music's going to be, so you can
Yeah,
bring
then it's like basic. And the Grammys, for example, it's like a basic live setup, you know, with your basic hand percussion, you know, your
yeah,
shakers and tamarines, you know, you got to have some color, bell trees and highs and triangles, and then the heavy stuff like the conga, timbal. I use a hand sonic also in case sometimes they need some sounds or hand claps or,
yep,
you know, my timbales or, you know, djembe. It all depends, you know. But that's more of a live, kind of a live thing. For what we're talking before is for the sessions. It's you on movies you usually know because you have the instrumentation, but records you kind of like sort of figure it out on your own. You
yeah,
hope you have
yeah.
everything you need.
And that's why they call you and they call
Lou Conte from Vegas.
Luke.
That's him.
That's him, because you're burning, and you're
Just
Luke
hey,
Conte
you
from
know, that
Vegas.
track. The track is burning, man.
Hey, Juan Escovedo is watching, and he said Luis Conte is the best. So,
Ah, who
and
was that?
Juan Escovedo.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
what's up?
yeah.
Thank you.
Juan,
Thank you.
Juan, I agree.
Yeah.
Luis, this is great, man. Well, we're kind of wrapping it up. I was gonna anything you want to talk about that's coming up that you're gonna be doing, and
Oh, I'm
I know.
working on a new album, man. I'm just starting to work on some stuff with a friend of mine named San Miguel Perez. We want to do a very traditional Cuban country record,
Wow, man. Yeah,
like from where I'm from, like out there
yeah,
from the bush, from where he's from too, and San Miguel is his name. We started doing a couple of gigs right over here in Thousand Oaks, at a little restaurant. Hey, man, let's go. You know, for a couple hours, we get some food and get paid. And it's just tres guitar and bongos, and then we're writing some stuff. I've got 3 songs written, and
great.
that's one thing. And I've been playing with my band, the Baked Potato, you know, doing little
Yep.
things like that when I'm free and once in a while. And basically just final plans, you know, James is probably going to tour. They sent some dates about touring next year. You know, I may do some of it. You know,
Yep.
at this point, I'm not really touring as much as I was before, you know,
Yeah.
staying real
Yeah.
close to home. So everything is just happening.
Yeah. Great. No, it's yeah. It's nice to be in that position where you can stay home, keep busy at home,
Thank
go out if
God.
you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you know, when the pandemic came, you know, it's like, I have a lot of friends too that go like, wow. I mean, you weren't doing anything. All of a sudden, oh, we have a life. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, there is a bed where I sleep in every day, and the same TV and my same kitchen. Oh yeah, every day, and it's got the same stuff in the bathroom. Like I don't have to move it.
Yeah.
Toothpaste and it's oh yeah, it's always there. You know, you start looking at this stuff, and it's like. Plus, you know, my wife has been a little ill, so I couldn't really travel
Yeah.
too much
Yeah.
when James started touring in 2021. So I pretty stayed home. I've pretty much been home for about 3 years, man.
Yeah.
For I went to somewhere to do the Grammys, and then I just did a thing with James in Boston,
Right.
and you know at that Fenway musical.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah.
that?
MGM. Yeah. The new place there. Yeah.
We did that thing there, and
I heard
so I
it's
might
great.
I might do some stuff with him next year, but we'll see.
Great. Well, I hope to see you then, if not sooner than that. But
I know,
yeah.
man. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you in person in a while.
I know it's been a few years, a few NAMM shows. Anyway. Yeah. But
Pandemic,
please,
man.
please give my love to Lupe and to Louis, who I
Thank you,
haven't
brother.
seen since he was a little guy. You know, now
Yeah. He's a nurse practitioner now at UCLA. He's a big honcho.
oh man, that's great.
He's doing great, man. My daughter's doing great. Karina and Lupe's hanging in there, and we're good. Kelly's good. Everybody good.
Everybody's good. Yeah, kids are good. Grandkids are good. It's all yeah, yeah.
Grandkids. I see those pictures. It's great.
I know it's a trip. I'll just say we yesterday we went to we do their soccer games on Sundays and
Yeah.
um, my granddaughter got 3 goals yesterday. She got
Whoa, that's big
yeah
time.
5 the last time we went and
Oh
3
my God.
yesterday. Yeah, she's a machine. She's amazing. And
That's
yeah,
amazing. That's great.
yeah, it's great. So, but
Man,
Luis, man, I love you so much. So good to see you. Thank you for doing this today.
it's my pleasure, man. I want to thank you because, guys like you, man, we need more people like John the Christopher, man. You're a blessing to us, man. It's a
Oh,
wonderful thing. Every time I see you on the social media thing and you doing the thing with all us percussionists and drummers, it's just keeping the fire alive, man.
wow. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
For
I don't know
real.
what to say. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
So
it's
real. And when you asked
I'm
me to do this, I was super thrilled when you asked me. I was like, are you kidding?
oh.
I'll cancel whatever. I'll do this thing.
Thank you so much. And yeah, next everybody watching, thank you for watching
Yeah.
today. And next Monday, uh, one of our close friends, me and Luis's good friend John Robinson will be on, and
Woo.
yeah, so we'll keep it going.
That's gonna be burning, I bet.
It's gonna be burning. We have to bring you on
I
to
have to
keep
be
it burning.
there. All right.
All right. Well, hang tight if you would, Luis, and I'll end the broadcast and we'll say goodbye. Everybody, big hand for Luis Conte. Ah, yeah, the
Thank you.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see you next week with JR.